ain't looking at you? What you doing when ain't nobody watching? Sitting up there talking to you behind your back, laughing at you because you sacrificing to have a better life because you don't want to sit and be high and be drunk out your mind, kicking it with them, wasting time. Holla if you hear me. Let me know. You know what I'm saying? Tired of that. Had to give all that up. They texting me right now trying to see what's up. Ain't nothing up, bruh. I'm done with all that. It's funny how we can kick it, smoke, sleep together, woo, 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 but we can't make no money together. Answer me that. I ain't got a comment yet. I might not get one. Just know that. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to come out your shell. That's cool. But I ain't finna be stuck nowhere with nobody. I don't want to do bad by myself. And I don't want to do bad with someone else. Just know that. Straight up. So, on that note, quote for the day. Yeah, I know you are jacked up. That's the whole problem. Your attitude jacked up too. And until you change it, bro, ain't nothing boss lady can do for you. You stubborn and you don't want to, you know what I'm saying, come out your what's the name? I don't know who told my Twitter to go back to all this other stuff. Let me push on it for it change again. My phone be doing some stupid stuff. My phone be doing some stupid stuff. Yeah, I'm going to read Claude Hamilton, life founder, author of leadership, speaker, entrepreneur, entitled It's All in Your Attitude, off the book Man's Search for Meaning, Viktor E. Frankl, with a new foreword by, let me blow this up so I can see it, because these words can't get no smaller, Harold something. It's kind of foggy there, but you get the picture. I once read a book that made a particularly big impact on my life. It was Man's Search for Meaning, written by psychiatrist Viktor Frankl. In his book, Frankl tells the story of his life as a concentration camp prisoner. This remarkable man survived 4 different camps and somehow managed to remain positive throughout the entire experience. His story is moving. In fact, one quote in particular never fails to humble me. Quote, "We who lived in concentration camps can remember the men who walked through the huts comforting others, giving away their last piece of bread. They may have been few in number, but they offer sufficient proof that everything can be taken from a man but one thing, the last of the human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances, to choose one's own way," end quote. Viktor Frankl. When I think about these words, I can't even fully fathom the horrific experiences that these people lived through. They lost loved ones and they were starved, cold, and abused. But still they found it in their hearts to share what they had to give. I hope that if I were in a similar situation, I would find the strength to help people too. Some of you will remember that a few weeks ago, I wrote about the 8 strengths that led to success. Over the course of my career, I've discovered that these 8 critical factors have to power to make or break a career, a marriage, or a family. Attitude is the first of these 3 strengths. It means staying positive when things get hard, trying again when you don't succeed, and learning from your mistakes. Before you do anything in life, it's extremely important to make sure that you have the right attitude in place. If you don't, you won't even get off the ground. And as I learned from my time in the military, the right attitude begins with good thinking. For years, leaders and visionaries have known that our thoughts determine our attitudes. The great Roman emperor and philosopher Marcus Aurelius said, quote, Our life is what our thoughts make it, end quote. And he was right. The people Frankl was writing about kept an attitude of human kindness, despite the fact that everything else was taken from them. I've seen a lot of people start working towards a goal with confidence, excitement, and great ideas. But as the challenges begin to pile up, and they inevitably do, many people start to lose that energy, and eventually they give up. That's why attitude isn't just about starting strong. It's about continuing to think positive thoughts all the time, no matter what you're going through. It is as simple as this. We can choose our thoughts. Our thoughts determine our attitude. Our attitude affects our behavior, and our behavior determines the direction of our lives. So before you start with your next project, make sure you got the right attitude in place. You'll need it if you want to succeed. I'm just curious about these 8 strengths. So I'm going to read this and I'm going to get out of here. Okay? So 8 strengths that'll change your life. Same author, Claude Hamilton. Life founder, author, leadership speaker, entrepreneur. For a couple of months when I was 17, my days were anything but typical. They began at 5 a.m. when I would bolt out of bed to run in formation with a number of other people. For the rest of the day, I could expect to be yelled at by drill instructors and to perform endless repetitions of push-ups, sit-ups, and pull-ups. I also learned how to hang my uniform properly, shine a boot in seconds flat, and make my bunk up flawlessly. I spent those months in basic training in Cornwallis, Nova Scotia. It wasn't easy, in fact. It was more challenging than anything else I had experienced before. But that was the point. We needed to toughen up so that we learned the discipline, the skills, and the courage to serve in the Canadian military. The experience that I built up as a cadet certainly helped, but it still took a lot of determination to stay tough through the grueling physical and emotional demands of boot camp. It was a surprise to me at the time, but the emotional challenges were harder than the physical ones. We had to learn to follow orders without question, even when those orders didn't seem to make sense. Sounds like my job. We learned to respond to the harsh words of our drill instructors with a simple, yes, sir. And we had to adjust to an entirely new way of life with very limited contact with our families. I know now that emotional challenges are almost always tougher than physical ones, whether you're at boot camp or building a family. Not everyone could handle the challenges of boot camp. Even some of the people who excelled at meeting the physical demands had to go home because they couldn't handle the emotional toll. As I began serving full-time in the military, I started watching people closely, paying attention to the actions of people who failed and those who succeeded. I began to keep track of what worked and what didn't, and I started making a mental list of traits that seemed to lead to success. After I married Lena, I noticed that these same traits also seemed to benefit people who were building families and businesses. These characteristics make up what I call the 8 strengths: attitude, courage, character, duty, honor, relationships, passion, tenacity. Remember when I wrote about my definition of toughness? Man, he got some more he want to throw out. I can't be all night, Claude, but I appreciate it. I explained that it doesn't necessarily mean that you're physically strong or resilient. It means that you continue to work towards your goals even when the going gets tough. But to pull that off, you need some very specific skills. That's where the 8 strengths comes in. These traits may like obvious ingredients for success, but they're emphasized less and less these days. And in many cases, they're disappearing because people never have the chance to develop them. Out of love, more and more parents are trying to shelter their children from challenging circumstances and experiences because they want them to have the easiest life possible. While this is an admirable goal, it doesn't necessarily give children the opportunity to build these 8 strengths. And those lost learning opportunities can make life difficult for children later when it becomes impossible to shelter them. But if you were to build these strengths in yourself or your children, you accumulate the tools needed to toughen up no matter what happens. In a nutshell, another victory. This show is about to come to a close. So really, that's basically all I had to say today. Check me out on Reverb Nation. I'll put it in the chat room for those of us that don't know it. You want to send me an email on how to get Magic of Thinking Big, how to win friends and influence people, Personality Plus. I will personally put it in a gift package and send it to you. Email me and let me know that request. Let me know. If you want to start learning, you can get a little bit at a time. You don't have to get the whole doggone package, but please get started. Please, in a matter of, say that to yourself. Please get started. And you fill in the blank of what your name is. But on that note, good afternoon, morning, and evening. And I will see you soon. Peace.